Alright, hi, welcome to the demo of The Big Hollow 1982. So in this game, you play as a new detective named Desmond, and it just so happens that the dumping ground of a serial killer has been found in a small town. And so, of course, it's up to you to basically uncover the serial killer before he finds any more new victims. And so yeah, without further ado, grab a cup of coffee and let's get going with the demo of The Big Hollow. Ma, you sleeping? Ma? I'm coming in, okay? Don't be mad. What? Why is Days empty? What's going on? I don't reckon she left me no pie anyhow. Okay. Ma's stuff. Her things is all still here. Oh, I'm really having trouble with reading all this. Ma? Ma? Hello? Ma? Oh. Looks like I'm alone. I don't know how I should feel about this. Whenever I was with her, I was sure that she didn't like me. I guess maybe this is a good thing. Were we seeing that from the serial killer's point of view? No. Time to get out of your head, Desmond. Here's the thing. There's no proof right now that the opening sequence belonged to Desmond. Right? Those two have been two completely different things. Maybe. We don't know. No. Time to get out of your head, Desmond. Should be here any moment now. You'll find out what this is about soon enough.
Oh? Really?
Lenore was a beat cop. Now, this I'd like to have seen. Probably where she adopted that no-nonsense stare-down technique of hers. It looks like she runs a tight ship, especially compared to the other SSAs I've reported to. The seal of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the symbol of the FBI. Without much other decoration, this isn't really doing wonders for the Iron Lady moniker hanging over her. Oh, is that what I think it is? Are those crime scene photographs? Oh.
Interesting.
Why are only the expressions voiced? Interesting. Seems like it's two different homicide victims. Something Lenore's investigating. Hold on. With her BSU and connections, could this be one of those investigations? I wonder if I can work anything out from these. I'll leave it alone for now. No. Lenore should be here any minute. Best to keep my nose out of it. Special Agent Trainer Lenore Davidson. She ran behavioral science classes for us recruits here and there.
Why, though?
But why of all people has she called me here? And where is she? Well, it was like a photo of Lenore's inauguration to the FBI. Not sure about this other one, though.
Huh.
Seems to be an FBI rejection letter from Hoover himself, no less. Wonder what the story is. Anything else? Ooh, not bad. I keep anything alive in the bowels of Quantico is no small feat. Anything else around here? But, well, then again, it really is tempting. I mean, while I'm here waiting, might as well see what I can see. Pretty different scenes, at least at first glance. I mean, right now, okay, just from my clearly my detective brain, which I am not. Wrist lacerations, neck injuries as well. Shoe, something about shoes. Maybe black underwear, which is a weird observation I'm making, but genuinely, right? Because of, again, like I said, there's no evidence that says that right now the opening sequence was associated with Desmond. Like, I'm thinking that was probably like the serial killer's like backstory, which is why we have certain scenes that are similar to how the mom was found in. So yeah.
It has to be.
So then, what is it that has Leonard looking over these two together? It must be the fact that they're both women. She was gagged, and with her underwear too. Perhaps her own? This takes time and control. Very deliberate. You know, come to think of it, I do have my things with me here. I could just... Her mouth?
I've come this far.
Oh, well, might as well do it like I was trained. So then, what else can I make from these? Only one shoe on. Could it be that I fell off as she was dumped? Yeah, cause, okay. Are these the same scenes? Because we see tire tracks here. Or some form of things. So, was she thrown out from this one car? Huh. Definitely some kind of abrasion here. I would assume some sort of restraint used. But then, why would man remove one kind of restraint just to leave another? Clear ligature mark. Strangulation is likely the cause of death. The way the mud builds on the side and the width too. Something big and heavy made these tracks. A truck or trailer, perhaps? The second shoe here is clearly hers. These cigarette butts nearby too. Was her killer bold enough to hang around and admire what he'd done? Why he? Interesting choice. Which is, I assume that's not a good thing to do, because you're already forming a mental profile of who the killer potentially could be. But I guess by associating keywords with it, you're already sort of having biases. Maybe. Now that's interesting. A handbag means identification, something the killer would normally like to delay. So then, one has to wonder, what's the relationship between victim and killer here? Probably none. Maybe. Her posture here, it's awkward. I'm not sure she simply fell this way. For her legs to be open towards the road like that, seems like she's being humiliated to me.
That's that then.
I think that's the main points, from this photo at least. Alright, well, chef lever, huh. Manual? A manual car, not surprising. Her face. The swelling and bruising on her face is really quite severe. Someone beat her up. Early onset too, so these occurred close to the time of her death. It's not quite easy to make out, but there's some kind of abrasions to the sides of her mouth. The way the blood pooled too makes me wonder, was something in place there earlier? Oh, that's true. So she was gagged too. Wrist again. Looks to be abrasions matching both arms, so she was restrained at some point then. Feet. Odd thing, isn't it, to be driving without shoes? But, this is interesting. Some kind of scratching on their soles. Hard to tell from this, granted, but I'm fairly sure that's resting in neutral. So not parked, but also not driving. I'm no expert, but this combination of clothes looks off. That's not to mention the undone bun in the middle. Something's not right with this. Did someone replace her clothes? Maybe that's a possibility. Someone replaced her clothing, which is pretty disturbing. Okay, what else? 5 out of 6. Clothes, wrists. What else am I missing? Oh, neck. Of course. Like, I saw that, like, from afar, but I didn't register it. It's a strange shape, but I'm fairly sure this mark is from a ligature, thick, with a circular shape of some sort on the end. Despite the beating, I would think this was strangulation that killed her. Maybe like a belt? Okay, seems like that's everything in light of all their details. I do wonder. The connection? There certainly are similarities, but are there enough? So then, care to tell me what you're thinking? Oh no.
Oh, well,
Hey, ma'am, I was just,
Really?
You're Ward, aren't you? Desmond Ward.
Right.
Yes, that is me, ma'am.
So then, Desmond, tell me.
Then I don't care much for repeating myself, so, if you could. Oh no, of course not, so sorry, what's the question? The photos, Desmond. What do you make of them? Is she mad at me? I can't tell. Was it the same killer? Probably unrelated crimes. What photos? Oh my god, bro. I think you have to suggest there's at least cause for connecting them, right? It would sound certain. Are you asking me or telling me? Oh no, I said, why was the cadence of that sentence off? Well, the thing is, there are differences between them. It's certainly not clean cut.
Could it be?
But similarities are there. It's hard to say, really. Hard to say if this is a serial murderer. This is the BSU, Desmond. You can use the term. It's a safe space. These serial killer profilers have been all the talk of the Bureau the last few years. An exciting new analytical approach to solving repeat offender murders. It's exactly why I've been trying to get time with anyone from the behavioral science unit. I was intrigued by this invitation. Only, I guess it's just that, well, I'm not really trained on what this is about just yet. The programs here aren't big on profiling or serial homicide. Old dog to new tricks, I'm afraid. Right, because, I mean, given that we're given the year 1982, I mean, it's pretty old, you know? It is pretty old. I hear a major in sociology, which will help some. A minor in psych too, yes?
Oh, well,
Yes, ma'am. It was, mostly, introductory classes.
Really?
Introductory, right. But your instructors, sorry, tell me it was my lectures that had you interested in the BSU. What you said about the offender behaviors and how we interpret them to better understand crimes, I think this is the future of homicide investigation, to be able to find murderers just by thinking how they think. This is really interesting. It never occurred to me that wasn't a standard approach. Because we think about that now, right? We think about that nowadays, but it's really interesting to consider an era where that wasn't the standard approach. And it makes sense because psychology and sociology and all of this ology stuff is quite new. Like psychology and all that stuff is actually genuinely quite new, quite the new fields. So it really does make sense that these types of approaches haven't been sort of considered. That's interesting. Okay. Something like that is key to my work as a future agent, ma'am.
There is more to it, though.
There's a lot more to it than that, Desmond. But I suppose as a concept is as good as a starting point as any. Starting point? It's a little exercise of sorts, a case this unit just recently assisted on. I'm curious to hear what you can make of it. Come, let's see what that mind reading you're capable of. Like mentalism? A case they're already finished with. She wanted me to find the photographs. This is some sort of what? Evaluation. Alright. Okay. Keep focused here. Sorry, the double S in focus caught me off guard. Desmond, you can't disappoint her now. Oh. So, the first thing you should know is that you'll largely process this like any other case you've trained with.
It's there in the evidence.
Start from the beginning, follow the evidence, follow the angles. That's the only way to understand behaviors. Here's the thing. We only got 2 photos right now. I'm pretty sure more angles, more photos of the same things would be appreciated, but yeah. And now that you're already familiar with the 2 victims, we can jump straight in.
Oh?
Well, I didn't have a look. I think familiar might be a stretch, though.
Desmond.
Come now, this is all just logic. Look, I'll even start you off easy. Take the victim on the left. How would you have said about identifying her? What would have most likely identified her? Her hair? Her mouth? Crown? Handbag?
It has to be.
Surely with the handbag, right? Assuming there's a license or something similar. Good. See? It's not so hard, like I said, as long as you follow the logic. With this left here, she was easily identified as one Bonnie Hayes. Miss Hayes' body was discovered not far from where she lived. A local found her on the shoulder of a back road. Our second victim on the right was found by deer hunters. The car she was in had been driven quite deep into a forest. She was identified through the car's registration as one Ida Rothermund, and also found not far from where she lived. Do we know their occupations and stuff?
Interesting.
One on back road, the other inside a car in a forest, both close to their homes. Both late 20s, and importantly, no signs of a struggle around either body, which means they were caught off guard or this was done by someone they knew. Oh, well, that's the wrong thing for me to say, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Never mind, I'm just dumb. These were likely not the primary crime scenes, the scenes of the murders, but rather the disposal sites. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know why I jumped to that conclusion. I forgot that scenes were also important. Sorry. I'm not cut out to be a detective. That's an important part of linking serial murder cases, isn't it? The way each body has been left behind. Perhaps, if similar enough. Since you have the urge to impress, then elaborate if you could. On linking offender behaviors. I'm paraphrasing here, but the way an offender acts during their crimes will reveal aspects of them as a person. The evidence they leave behind reveals the choices they made, and those choices tells us a lot. What they desired, or feared, hated. So if crimes show repeated patterns of behavior, repeated signs of that same personality,
Not bad.
they could be a repeat offender. Yes, well then. What would you suggest here? Could we claim there are similarities in how the offender disposed of each victim? I mean... Okay, but we're left by the offender. Does that include like injuries and stuff like that? Because clearly there are, right? The neck. I assume the gag on Ida's mouth that was removed, and then obviously the wrist restraints. They are similar, but are there enough similarities?
Here's what I'm thinking.
On the surface, they may seem to have their differences, but I'm not completely convinced. A back road, a forest, both are relatively secluded areas, both near the victims' homes. Quite valid reasoning, I'll give you that, but tell me.
There is more to it, though.
Would you not agree that there is considerably more effort made here to hide one body over the other?
Yeah, right.
See, the question was too vague. Like, are there like similarities between both, like how the offender left them, and they are, but like oh man, I'm coping. It's copium, huffing pure copium. That's true. So it's a start, but I guess we need more information, more context. Well, proximity must be a fairly large factor. How close are they to each other?
Now you're getting somewhere.
Right. Because usually, if they're assuming that the serial killer has a base of operations, if there's enough murderers, they can usually sort of triangulate, right? Like a certain proximity to things. You're certainly asking the right questions. Miss Hayes was found close to Briar Hollow, an old and mostly defunct logging town on the northern outskirts of Cumberland. Miss Rothermund and her car were closer to Hickory Ridge, North Trenton, a field junction with few residents, not much else. Both secluded villages, I assume?
In fact.
Thing is, both were found off of the same back road connecting the town to the field junction, barely 2 miles apart.
Oh?
But
Really?
But then they must be connected. A small back road, 2 small populaces.
Not quite, Desmond.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Desmond. This is about context, as you said, and we have good reason to believe that the suspect pool could be significantly wider.
Let's see here.
Have a close look at this and keep in mind, this is all about logical reasoning. What do you think is an indication of why this might not just be a local offender? The tracks.
Right.
You're referring to the tire tracks, aren't you? A deep and wide impression, that means a truck, and we're starting to look into truck drivers then.
Oh.
We could be looking at anyone and
If
everyone who
that's
took
the case.
deliveries through the area. And when you consider the main highway passing through Hickory Ridge, I don't know what Hickory Ridge is. Dog. And that's not such the small pool of suspects after all. So then, where does that leave us? We've discussed 2 offender behaviors, body disposal and area of offenses, but that's simply not enough.
The evidence tells the story.
What we need to consider are all the evident behaviors together before we can call this a series or not. You'll need this notebook. Go ahead and take a look so we can get started. I've taken the liberty of simplifying the remaining identifiable behaviors down to these 5.
Let's see what you make of this.
From here, I'd like to see your ability to compare each on your own.
Oh, well,
But hold on. Overkill? Staging or posing? I'm not sure I know what you mean exactly.
Desmond.
Have a little courage, Desmond. If you want guidance on a term, let me know and I'll break it down for you.
It's there in the evidence.
Otherwise, review the evidence, think about what makes the most sense for each, then make your decisions. Reasonably decent, she says. How'd I ever doubt myself? Leonard's a tough customer, but that's really it. A chance with the BSU.
okay, Desmond. You can do this.
Let's not rush it, Desmond. Take your time. You'll want to fall at the starting line. Cause of death similar. We don't have anything concrete on how either woman died, so use your best judgment here. Based on what can be seen, what would be the most likely reason each woman died? So we review this neck thing, neck laceration, right? Strangulation, and this was also strangulation, right? I think it was strangulation that killed her. Yep, okay. Restraints used, yes. Weapons utilized. I would say yes, right? Oh, sorry, I clicked off. Color ligature mark. I mean, we can assume there's a weapon used, because that's not the shape of a handprint. Right. Thick with a circular shape of some sort at the end. Yes, signs of overkill. Generally speaking, force against the victim which wasn't necessary in actually causing the victim's death is known as overkill. Yes, because we can see that she was beaten up. Here I'm particularly interested in indications in motion from the offender rather than a controlled attack. So there's no overkill on her, though. Right, there's no sign of, like, there's... Are they similar? No. Staging or posing? There's no... In this case, no, they're different. Cause Ida clearly had her shoes taken off. This one apparently fell off when she was tossed out. Okay. Let's see here.
Not
Well,
quite,
they're
Desmond.
close. More than half are right by my count. Only 1 or 2 wrong. That's close, right?
Oh, well, maybe not then.
I prefer not to make it a guessing game. Maybe it's time you show me a few pointers here. Good. Let's break this down then. First, cause of death, strangulation. This is reasonably clear. Both victims have ligature marks along their necks.
In fact,
Strangulation is the most likely cause of death for both women, which in fact turned out to be the case. Now the restraints. Both women have clearly matching marks on the wrist for restraints, but not only that.
there is more to it, though.
The bruising around Ida's mouth and the way the blood has pooled on her face. It's subtle, but it's there. Both women were also gagged during their attacks. Oh, yeah, but like she's not gonna get strangled by a hand, right? Oh, but then I guess like this one didn't have Ida's body didn't necessarily have like or rather Bonnie's body didn't have like the yeah, you're right. Now things get a little more interesting here. We know both were strangled, however. The impressions on each victim's neck, the ligature marks, differ. In strangulations, that is the weapon we're considering.
If that's the case,
Does this mean it was a different offender? Not necessarily, but even so, the change in the exact ligature is significant. This can be a difficult one to an untrained eye, but you've done well.
In fact,
With Ida's bruising not having time to fully form, it must have occurred during the time of her death or just before. Was this violence used to control her? She was already restrained, so no, that's not likely. And since Bonnie had no such injuries, we simply can't discount this important difference. And lastly, staging or posing, another tricky one. But both bodies have in fact been repositioned. Bonnie was posed, positioned in a way to degrade and humiliate her. Ida, on the other hand, was not positioned in a way to present what the offender had done. Far from it, actually. Ida was in fact staged, repositioned in an attempt to deceive investigators.
the evidence tells the story.
Remember, staging to deceive, posing for ritual or symbol, seemingly similar, but in actuality quite different. So, there you have it. For your first foray into linkages,
Nicely deduced.
that was good work, Desmond. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. But I can't pretend I would have noticed every single detail you mentioned. Oh, I should have gotten it right, but I didn't because I'm lazy. So the victims are restrained in similar ways, but we don't know if it was the same unique gag. Both are strangleable with different ligature, plus the difference in posing and staging.
I wonder.
They are on the same
Could it
row,
be?
but with all this said, is that enough? A little more critical in your suspicions now. That's good. I'd like to see it. What we need is an aspect of the offender's behavior that is significant, something undeniably from the same person.
Let's see here.
Let's go back to what you just mentioned, the gag utilized against Bonnie. You described it as unique. Well, it's so deliberate. There are much easier ways to gag someone. He needs to go out of his way to do it.
Exactly.
Which means it likely fills an important need for the offender. He's driven to do it, so then... What if we can prove that this unique behavior, the same type of gag, was utilized during Ida's homicide?
Oh?
Oh,
Really?
but did I miss something? I didn't think I saw anything related to a gag. It's not always about what is seen, Desmond, but also what can be deduced, because her clothing was replaced.
So then, Desmond, tell me.
Think carefully. What would we need to examine here in order to know if Ida had the same gag as Bonnie?
Could it be?
I suppose if Ida did have her underwear removed and used as a gag, the logical thing to examine would be her clothes. The underwear would be missing, assuming the offender kept or disposed of them.
Not bad.
Either that or they'd be back on her, which as it turns out, was the case. The presence of blood and saliva on the underwear gave it away and matched perfectly the positioning as a gag.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
I see.
well. I see, so he redressed her. I didn't think something was odd about her clothing. Presumably part of his staging process.
Huh.
Right. Redressed her for the staging. The same back road, restraints, strangled, same unique gag.
If that's the case,
At this point, it's quite compelling. The behavioral links are difficult to deny. But what was... Okay, here's the thing, though. We do necessarily have part of their MO, but is there a link between both victims, aside from the fact that they're both women? It's likely a repeat offender in these two cases should be investigated with that close in mind. But then, despite the similarity, the victims are still so different. You know, all this time, it seemed like it was the differences that made this harder to investigate. But now I think it's exactly those differences that will help me find the man who did it. Oh, how is that then?
It has to be.
It's like you say, if you follow the logic of why he did what he did, it can only mean one thing. It can only mean that he was known to one victim much more than the other.
Perhaps.
Interesting. You have my undivided attention, Desmond.
Well, I've come this far.
Well, you're in it now. Hope I'm right about this. Differences in crime scenes suggest the killer was known too. Bonnie or Ida? Well, clearly she's made to be humiliated, right? She's made to be a bit more, like, respectful, quote unquote.
Here's what I'm
It
thinking.
must be Ida that knew him. I think it comes down to the staging, the redressing too. It's all trying to hide something. Bonnie, on the other hand, he wasn't hiding anything. Even her identification was right there.
Nicely deduced.
Not bad at all. The central need for a murderer connected to a victim is to obfuscate that connection. Bonnie was presented by him like he wanted to show off what he'd done.
In fact,
He even left the critical evidence of himself there, the 2 Windsor bowls he spoke standing over her.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
He didn't care if she was found or even identified because he knew he couldn't be traced from her. With Ida, though, everything we've discussed, it was all about distancing the chance of being found out.
there is more to it, though.
Yes, and there's much more to be said on how he went about it, the staging that we've touched on. Here, let me see those notes of yours, Desmond. Perhaps you've already noticed what I'm referring to.
Oh, well,
Notes? Well, I mean, I jotted a few things down, but I don't know if they're, well, you know.
Desmond.
Desmond, this playing coy is growing tiresome.
right.
Yes, right. I mean, you know, is rough practice more than anything else. It's not bad. You at least pick up on 2 crucial details, so let's start with those. Don't be coy, she says. Here, hand me that notebook again. Oh. Questions answered with facts from the crime scenes. This is the foundation of any investigation.
Let's see what you make of this.
From here on, I'd like to see you apply your own observations, your evidence, to solve the questions we find.
It's there in the evidence.
Think on it. What are the 2 details you noticed that could infer she wasn't actually the one driving? You've done well so far. We'll see if that was just luck or not soon enough. The shift lever, because it's on neutral. And then her feet, I imagine. Well spotted. To stage Ida in the driver's seat, we're clearly being led to believe she somehow drove herself here. If this was some self-induced accident, though, then how did the shift come in to be neutral? Well, certainly not definitive. The lack of shoes at the very least should be raising questions for investigator.
Perhaps.
Perhaps she prefers driving barefoot, or perhaps she wasn't actually the one driving.
If that's the case.
So, despite the fact that both of these aspects could potentially be explained, together they form one key suspicion: who was driving the car? Did Ida really drive this car into the woods, barefoot, and have the capacity to put the car back into neutral afterwards? Right, but you seem to suggest there was something I missed in my notes too. Yes, well, take a look at how Ida is positioned here, physically.
What do you think?
Didn't something about it seem off to you? Make it highly unlikely that she was driving? An aspect of body slump, her limbs rested, position of seat. She is... Her limbs rested. Yeah, but like they could have been rested afterwards, you know. Position of seat could also be important because look how close, like that's not how you would do this. Position of seat, I guess.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
see.
right. I see it now. It's where I see this. It's so far back.
Not bad.
Indeed, better late than never, Desmond. Once he knows how far back the seat is set, it's clear that Ida could not have comfortably driven this car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. I see. Whoever was driving was taller than Ida at the very least. So, the seat, the missing shoes, the car in neutral, the offender at least attempted to stage this as, what, a car accident? A car crash, sorry. Further proof that this was about him distancing himself, about him knowing one victim more than the other. That makes two established ideas. We have a repeat offender, and one that was known to Ida.
So then, Desmond, tell me.
So then tell me, where are you going to start this investigation? Oh, me? Well, Ida.
Desmond.
Desmond, really? We spoke about this.
Right.
Right. Okay, the bottom line here is learning more about Ida. I would think I would start by going to her home, see what can be gathered from there.
Why is that?
I'm curious, why do you think it is that you do that? Well, it was nearby. It could be something happened there, or at least it's a starting point to learn about Ida. I'm not talking about the case, Desmond. I'm talking about you. This defensiveness. I'm sorry? I'm not sure I follow, ma'am. You're shying away from taking the initiative, but not always. Why do you think that is? Does something in particular intimidate you, Desmond, Mr. Ward? Why is she... Am I intimidated? Is this part of her test? Yes, by you. Alright, let's do this. If I'm honest, ma'am, I probably am intimidated, at least a little. It was at times hard to tell if you're, if I'm impressed, if you're disappointed. But believe me, I appreciate the opportunity and the challenge. I'm ready to step up to it, ma'am. Right, I see. Interesting. Step up, you say?
Back to it, Desmond.
Good, back to it then. Only now let's try with a little more independency. You said you want to visit her home, so let's start with that. Okay. Oh, they already visited? This is Ida's home. At least the back half that makes up her bedroom.
Let's see what you make of this.
Let's see what you make of this without the hand holding. This is your scene now. Oh. Ah. Interesting. Interesting. So Ida died at the start of it. Okay. Okay, so my point of view from the start was completely wrong then. I was thinking that would be like the backstory to the serial killer. But that's not the case because it happened recently then. Huh. We hope you have enjoyed this demo of the Big Hollow 1982. Looking for the full game featuring new photographs, witness interviews, and coded lists guiding you and Desmond through to the thrilling conclusion of who killed Ida and Bonnie. Thanks for playing. I do kinda wish we got a few more victims. Mainly because I think having only 2 victims makes it kind of a stretch to see that there's definitively a pattern. Right? Like maybe 3 at the very least, which is kind of which is kind of morbid for me to say, but I would have liked at least 3 just to really set that pattern in. Because now it does seem a bit of a stretch to only have 2. Like, I guess it's a small road and a small town, but also, you don't know. So one thing I realized is, this photo of this kid over here. Who is this kid? Is that Desmond as a child, or is that the murderer? So, okay, so we got... We got dialogue at the very start of the game where someone was clearly maybe Ida's son or whatever, being like, or child rather, being like, oh, guess she's gone now, because Ida died in her bedroom, which is interesting. Or she was killed in her bedroom, and that's where we saw the gag. So it's someone close to her, but is it the child? Probably not, because from Bonnie's from Bonnie's photos, clearly it was someone who was old enough to drive a truck, someone who could smoke and whatnot. That's interesting. We definitely don't have enough clues to draw enough conclusions, which is fine. Right, we're at the very start of this game. But yeah. So far I enjoyed this game. I do definitely enjoyed this game. I enjoyed this little mystery that's bringing us along. Obviously it's a lot more of a point and click game, but again, like I said, I do like my point and click games. It's a very nostalgic feeling to have point and click games. Especially back when flash games were still a thing. So I appreciated it. I do like the mystery. I've always loved a nice murder mystery and all that stuff. I was a Sherlock Holmes kid, so yeah, I should get back to reading them. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking more about the case, but to my knowledge, there's no bugs, no optimization issues. It's pretty good throughout the entire game. Yeah, there are a few things here and there, like focused with 2 S's and then the at some point when I was reading through. So some proofreading is needed, but other than that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my experience. Yeah, so if you guys want to just try out the mystery for yourself, make sure to download the demo on Steam. The full game releases May 28th, so it's going to release quite soon. I don't actually know when I'm going to be releasing the demo, or my playthrough of the demo, so it's probably going to be it's going to be very, very close by the release. And of course, if you guys want to support the devs, make sure to wishlist the game, because algorithm boost and all of that stuff. And so yeah, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you guys are. And see you guys next time. Bye bye. See you and take care. Bye.